now. It should not be new to you. If it's new to you, then you need to go watch the other videos, because I'm not gonna go over support and resistance every single time I get on. It's just a waste of time. Okay, real quick. Okay, real quick. Remember the last class that we had when we were talking about Apple? Remember this specific line right here that I made? Can you guys tell me what this is called? No, that specific, dude, why is it so, I can't even see it. There's a blue line. No, I made this blue line for a reason though. Remember? We were like, oh yeah, we got this little pennant bear flag on Apple. And then we made the poll and and then what I did was, right? So look, I'm gonna delete this one. And what I did was I duplicated it and then I put it right where we broke out right here, right? So that's the size. So that's what we were expecting the move to make. So that was what we were expecting. Brett, you kind of suck at explaining. All right, Joe, you can leave. Oh wait, there's two Joes. Let me just kick both Joes. Like if I'm taking my time to do this and you don't appreciate it and you're just a troll, like you can get the F out of the chat, bro. Because I could be doing better things than this. Anyways, so we made the flagpole, right? And then we duplicated it. And then we, remember when we made this line, okay, look, listen. When we made this line on the right, this move, did it already happen or did it not happen yet? This move did not happen yet, right? So now when I zoom out right there, right? When I zoom out right there, our target on Apple now is essentially still going to be 159. But remember when I told you guys, where did I tell you guys the level? This is Kevin, by the way. I told you guys the level on Apple. What level did I tell you to trade on Apple if it broke below a certain level? Because there was that one, and why though? Why was it 166? Because there's that big demand level right here, right? That 166, this orange level is so strong in terms of in terms of supply and demand. You have a lot of buyers sitting there, you have a lot of sellers sitting there, whatever the case may be, right? That's why I highlighted this part. Look, okay, so let me take out all of the ovals so I can show you which one I'm actually talking about, because I want you guys to have an understanding of this so that when you trade by yourself, you're not clueless. I don't like when people, like, this is what I want. The number one thing I hate is this. So like, let's say, you're trading and stuff and you're second guessing yourself. That's the worst fucking thing that you can do, is second guess yourself, because when you second guess yourself, you're wasting time. And with trading, time is literally of the essence, because depending on, obviously if you're swing trading, time is not of the essence. But if you're day trading like we are, and for example, on Friday, when I signaled those scalps, it happened in 5-10 minutes and we all made money. But if we had held it throughout the whole day, we would have made 1,000%. The point is, time is of the essence when you're day trading, because you want to be able to execute the correct way. Look, so that's, see, why did I highlight that one? I highlighted this because this is where we bounced. I highlighted this one because this is where I want you to pay attention. You gotta focus on levels that look like this. So what the level did was, as it rejected the level, you gotta look at the sizes of the candles. How many points did that stock just drop by rejecting that level, right? So what does this tell us? If you see, the first time when you saw this, you're like, okay, this rejected. What does this mean for Apple in terms of the level if you saw this big move down? So this was a 166 to 160. This was a 6-point drop. keep in mind, Apple only has about a $3 to $4 ATR. So for Apple to move 6 points, which is $2 above its ATR, essentially, right? What does that mean? That there is a lot of selling in that particular level. And this is why this is why levels are so important, because once you can find the levels that are key, you can trade those levels and you can follow the direction that, wherever the buyers and sellers, wherever the big money wants it to go, that's where you follow, right? So once we broke this level right here, right? Once we broke that, it was over. Now, how would we have been able to trade Apple if you were trading this, right? Give me two factors that allowed you to trade this. Sorry, I'm using my inhaler. I have breathing problems. So first of all, you have the breakout of the pattern, right? The breakout of the pattern. And then you have the stochastics. Okay, now I'm not telling, okay, you guys are all throwing me like all these good answers, but I'm not, but this is not just one single strategy. I'm telling you that, okay, the stochastics itself and the moving average crossover itself, that's one. Okay. The breakout of the pattern, that's two. The breakout of the support, that's three. Now, if you move into the smaller time frames, now you want to, let's say now you move into the smaller time frames, what you can do is you can utilize candlesticks, right? You see this big candlestick right here, right at the open on the 15 minutes. And this signifies what? What does this signify? This signifies a sell-off. This long wick on the top tells you that there are a lot of selling pressure coming in. Now, mind you, if you look at the 5-minute candlesticks, right? The thing is, this is what fools a lot of people, is that you don't utilize the fact that you need to use multiple time frames to be able to trade correctly. Because if you just used the 5-minute by itself, what would you have done at the open once you saw this big green candle? You probably would have bought calls, right? Now, the thing is, if you utilize bigger time frames, and if you have your support and your resistance levels correctly, you wouldn't have bought into that at the open. Does that make sense? You would have waited until we tested 167 and see where that leads us. And in terms of, okay, once we reject that level, where do we enter the trade, right? So we enter the trade once we go back in the pattern. And what pattern am I talking about? I'm talking about this big pattern right over here. This what is this called? This pennant on the 4-hour, right? This pennant, bear flag, whatever you want to call it, right? Hold on. Who's talking? Who the hell is Jose? Okay, which Jose? There's fucking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Jose's. Should I just kick all those Jose's? I'm not gonna kick anybody, bro. Just if you guys are, if you don't want to be here, if you want to hate on me, I don't give a shit. It's your trading, not mine. So my thing is like this, like fuck, you're the sore loser, not me, basically. So I'm sorry, but anyways, the bigger pattern that you want to look for was this, right? So you guys see this green pennant right here, right? Pennant right here, bop bop. Now when you look at it on a 5-minute time frame, right, as soon as it breaks down below that pattern, you can actually just short the stock. Why is that? Why is that I'm able to just short the stock as soon as it's below the pattern, even though I'm looking at a 5-minute time frame? Because exactly what Anthony Tuma says, because once it breaks, it breaks. That's basically it. Once it breaks the level, it breaks the level. And then what you have to factor into, what you have to actually factor into is what day are we trading this at? Okay, this is Friday. Now, what usually happens on Fridays is the sell-offs. You usually get a bunch of sell-offs on Friday. You usually get a lot of volume on Friday. So that's one thing you want to take advantage of. Now, I'm not going to lie. If you first got into the Apple trade right here, when it broke down for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 minutes, what would have been happening to your contracts? Your contract would not just be sideways, you'd be down because of time decay. Does that make sense? You're like, if you held through this thing right here, you would have been probably down like 20%, right? Now, a lot of people, what happens is this: they end up selling their contract because it's not working out as fast as they think they want it to, right? But what you have to wait for is you have to wait to see how the candles test these support and these resistance lines, right? So for example, if we were looking at the 4-hour time frame, right, and we were looking at the pole. So look, you look at the size of the pole, and then you look and then you make it again on the breakout. Did it test the pole at all? Yes. Isn't that fucking crazy, right? You can actually use that pole as a resistance level, as a level to see how the prices react to that pole. But the thing is, you got to make it correctly. Does that make sense to you guys when I say make it correctly? So, okay, if the pole looks like this, then you can't make this one. If the pole is downward like that, you can't make this one like this. You can't just expand it and make it like that. Does that make sense? You have to make it the way you made it like this. And the way you made it like this is because it makes sense, right? The way the line moves is how the bottom part of the pattern and the top. So these, and this is the key. This is where, you're going to find a little bit of gold in here. This is where they meet, right? This is where they meet. So that's where you make the line across, and then you duplicate it, and then you make that exact pattern and you transfer it to where it might break out. And then now on the 5 minutes, you can see that even that pole you just made reacted as a resistance the whole way down. Does that make sense? Or is that too much? You got it, right? If you guys want me to repeat that, I'm just going to upload the video and you can rewatch it. Okay. Anyways, we had a good day Friday. I was just pissed as hell because I missed out on a lot of money and it's whatever. So on Apple, our ultimate target is going to be 159. Now, what do we have coming up next week? We have earnings next week, right? We have earnings, and keep in mind, some of these earnings might do good, but yet the thing is, I have to, who can pull up the earnings this week? Can anyone tell me what earnings come out on Monday? Just real quick. Someone. Okay, if nothing good is coming out on Monday, then you can expect a little bit of sell-off coming into Monday. Why do I say a sell-off coming into Monday? Because prices usually will go back to where they used to be. So around here, right? Now, once we bounce off of here, right? Once we bounce off of here, I don't know, or I don't think it will keep going down, because at this point, what pattern do you see here? This big green pattern up and down. What is the name of that? You have a flag, right? So this is a flag. Now, at what point does a flag become invalid to where it's no longer a bull flag? Now, what you want to do is you want to take the middle of the flag. So around here, You want to take the middle of the flag and you want to do that. Okay. So that's the middle of the flag. So meaning if and once the price goes below the middle of the flag, that's where we're going to short. But guess where the middle of the flag lies in terms of where Apple is now? That middle of the flag is where the strong support is. Is this starting to make sense to you? It's like that should be like an aha moment, right? So that's why on Monday we might continue to see a sell-off, up to here, up to at least 189. So that's for Apple. And then let's look at Amazon. This is Amazon. So look, Amazon has been in a freaking mess the past year or two. It's been so hard to trade this. We haven't found a single direction, whatever the case is. So now I'm gonna see, like what's next for Amazon, like what can we utilize. So you have this resistance going down like this, then you have a level about here. Who here has gone better with technical analysis just by watching my videos or like listening to me? I hope so. Okay, so this is the weekly on Amazon. So what does the weekly look like? It looks like poop. I'm not gonna say the word SHIT because someone's complaining, but this looks like poop. Earnings are coming. So now one thing that I wanna warn you about is that there is a huge demand level on Amazon right about here. And do you guys see why there's a huge demand level on Amazon right about there? Because you see this bounce right over here, right over here, right over here, right over there. It keeps bouncing, right? So here's the thing. On Amazon and on Apple, we're both really close to the support. So what I mean is this. That's why I'm saying on Monday might be the last down day that we have until we do what? Until we potentially bounce up, right? Now, how do I trade the bounce on Amazon? On Amazon, how I trade the bounce is I want it to go inside of this little space right here. So once Amazon gets back into the space, that's when I'm going to look to buy calls, right? Now, for example, Boeing, let's see. Damn, I know you guys can't read that. So let me just delete the whole thing. Okay, on Boeing, what you have a channel, a range channel, whatever you want to call it, going down. It's right here. Now you have, okay, questionnaire. What is this called? Not a low. It's called something else. It's called this. It's a swing low, swing low, swing low, swing high, swing high, swing high, and swing high. Now, this is how you basically figure out which levels are this, how many of you have trouble making support and resistance because you don't know which ones are the more important ones, right? So this is how you figure out which ones are the most important. Like these levels are the most important to me on Boeing because that's where they bounce, right? So then you have another one right here. I'm just trying to help you guys here. You have a swing low here. And then you have a resistance right over here. I'm going to make the line so that you guys see. You have a resistance about there, somewhere around there. That green line, right? So I'm gonna delete that. Now I'm gonna make a line right there so you know that you know why I made that line. And you have the top right here, the resistance, because you have, right here, retest, retest, retest. Okay, now what do we do? What do we do with Boeing? What's the game plan? What do you guys think the game plan is? I want to know your opinion. So that was a weekly aspect. What's the game plan here? Now, if we want to use the midpoint strategy, right? You want to find the midpoint, which is somewhere about here. So right now, where are we at? We're below the midpoint. So in theory, right, what we expect is a continuation to the downside. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily buy puts, because what you want to do now is you want to make a trend line going up from where the last support is to where we are now. Does that make sense? I'm talking about right over here. This one, these three, and these three, and this, right? Does that make sense right there? So you want to make that. Now, at what point do I buy puts? Now, this breakout of this line is 176, and the next support is 173. Now, you can argue saying, okay, wait, let me wait until we break below 173 to short to the downside. But what you can actually just do is do what? You can just enter puts below this line and make your first profit target 173.72. And then your next one is down here, right? Depending, obviously, yes, I know Boeing has ER on Wednesday, Yasmin. So we're gonna try to trade it before the ER. But depending on where we are, for example, let's say Monday, Tuesday, the Boeing starts tanking all the way down here, right? What do you think is a good play for Boeing after earnings? Is a long play. But what you can still do is you can even enter Boeing calls after, if it was to go down here, even before their earnings, right? It's the thing is, earnings, it's a gamble, it's a bet. But what you got to understand is, from a common sense perspective, how much lower can Boeing go, right? Now, Boeing, if you buy puts or you buy if you buy calls, that you have your support right here and right here and right here. Now, let's say Boeing fucking tanks. Let's say Boeing tanks their earnings and it gets down here, right? What are we gonna do? Immediately, we're gonna have to buy calls, right? You don't buy puts. You don't want to buy puts at the bottoms, because this is the bottom of Boeing. You understand? If Boeing breaks this downside, it's going to be over for everything else, right? Everything else is going to be bloody. It's not that it's a bad thing that it's going to be bloody, but the thing is, the bloodshed, the bloodshed has continued. And what we want is, we want the bloodshed to end so that we can position ourselves to buy calls so that we can follow the ride up. That's going to be the easiest part of this whole thing. And you guys are all going to be able to participate into it, because you guys are all actively trading in the market right now. So just know that we are all, not just me, you guys, we're all in a good position to be able to make a lot of fucking money in the next few weeks or few months. Okay, whether it be you're in the group or not, I don't give a fuck, because you'll see it, right? We're literally at, it's not like, here's what I'm saying. It's not like Boeing, right, is trading right here, right now, at the middle, right? Right now, we're nearly at the bottom. So, we're gonna get, you guys are getting, I promise you, I don't want to not promise, but I guarantee you, some of you guys are gonna make a lot of money based on the moves that we're gonna make in the next week. What's another stock you want to look at? Look at AMD. Look, AMD's in this pennant, right? AMD has fallen below its lows, right? This is where's the next support? On the left side, right? This is where the next support is. Right over here. You guys see that? Do you guys see that? You have this, and then you have this, right? Now, If I make a line through both, am I going to meet the one all the way to the right? Yes or no? So we're right there, right? So look, the crazy thing is this support on AMD and the passive resistance on AMD just happens to be the support of AMD on this what? On this what? What is this called? This big thing that I drew. On this wedge, pennant, whatever you want to call it, right? Is that a coincidence that the support of the wedge is also a big support on AMD? No, it's not a coincidence because you see this every time. So what is the game plan again for Monday? The game plan is to wait to see if we're going to continue to sell off and we buy the bounce. That's it. That's exactly what we're going to do. Now I'm going to go over a few more names. Give me some names you want me to go over. Oh, dude, PayPal. PayPal has been taking a dump. Look at PayPal. Jeez. This was such a good trade to make. Here you have PayPal, right? So this PayPal is literally at the support line. This is the support line. Now, how do you think people look at this right now? How do you think people everywhere that are looking at PayPal, how do you think they're looking at this right now? What are they thinking of, right? You got to think about what they're thinking of. How much lower can this go? We're already at $80. We were at $300 and it went all the way down at $80. So what I'm saying is this is a really good buy the dip opportunity, right? Here's the thing. Sometimes all these setups look so easy to take, but people lose money on it because the move doesn't happen as soon as they want it to happen. Does that make sense? Like, for example, Chupapi says there's room for 75. Now, that might be true. Now, let's say you might buy calls right now and it goes to 75. Now, what are you going to immediately do as soon as it goes to 75? You're going to sell, right? Because you're like, damn, I'm fucking losing money. Why am I buying calls? But then next thing you know, the next week we gap up $20. So that's the thing. You have to give yourself a little bit of time when you're looking at stocks that have been beaten down like this, because we're going to come up eventually. All right, two more names for this week. Facebook. Did we go over Facebook? Facebook has room to 137. But on Monday, like I said, on Monday at the open, I'm kind of short because you guys know the reason why I'm short. I don't want to just say I'm short and then I'm wrong and then you're like, bro, you were wrong. But am I giving you guys a good reason on why I'm short just for Monday? Just look at SPY. Damn, dude. Chart SPY. I will right now. Okay. I saw it. I'm gonna make more. I'm making a weekly ones. Some people are like, bro, that's too close together. But how about, what if I go on the 5 minutes? Boom, there's not enough. So now I'm looking at it on the daily. It looks way clearer. I'm gonna make my support and resistance levels right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, here, All right, that's good enough. It's fine. Right there. All right, cool. Now those are my levels. Now I have my 5 minutes, right? So now I have my entries and my exits, right? So that's my daily and weekly level. Now, sometimes you don't have to make a 4 hour level unless you want to. Like for example, I got one right here. But what you do is you want to change the color because I like to color code my time frame. So this one is a 4 hour. So I'll make another one here and I'll make another one right over here. I'll make one right here. So for example, right, let's go to the 5 minutes. Now, all right, for example, let's say, okay, here, just for example purposes, let's say SPY right now is right over here at 434, right? Let's say we're trading right over here tomorrow. Let's just, for example's sake, let's say we're right here. You have this green candle coming up, right? Now, if my SPY is right there, where's my first entry for calls? Above 436.17, right? Where's my first profit target? My first profit target is going to be that 48 level. But what is my actual target, do you think? My actual target is 440 because 440 is a level that I made on a bigger time frame, right? Where's my stop? So if my entry was about, okay, because I was just, I was just showing you. But let's say we're doing it right now with our real levels, right? At what point do I buy calls? I'll buy calls above 425, right? And I'll try to sell at 426 and then eventually 428. Now, if I'm entering the breakout of 425, right? And let's say the stock is right here in the middle, right there. Let's say that's the candle that we're looking at. Where is my stop loss? How do I set my stop loss? Now, there's different ways to set your stop loss. Now, one being below where your entry is, right? A little below. And what's the other way? The other way is using your moving average as your stop loss. So as it goes below the moving average, that's where you want to stop. Or what you can do is you can use a 20 to 30% rule, right? So let's say like this. So basically, if I'm entering, right over, if I'm entering this right here, and this is my reward. And let's say I entered about, let's say I enter right here, right? Let's say I enter right there. So if I'm entering here and then that's my profit target, if 426 is my profit target, then this is going to be my, remove this. Then this will be my reward, right? And this is right. And let's say I enter here. So I entered right here, right? Where's my risk? So my risk is going to be this. This is my risk, right? That's my risk. That's how much I'm risking, right? To make this. So as soon as we go above 424, I'm making money. Now, if you buy more than 5-10 contracts and you want to trim, right? Ultimately, this is how you got to think. Ultimately, if you're buying more than 5-10 and you're going to trim, then ultimately your profit target is up here. So now your risk to reward becomes bigger because now you're utilizing every single resistance level and you're trimming at every single one. So you're still going to trim it all the way up to 428. Does that make sense? The entry is right here, 424. Right? The entry was 424 and the first target is 426. Now, how many of you have seen, like when I signal stuff and I have one target and it hits the second target, for example? That's what I'm talking about. If it hits the second target, then your risk to reward becomes bigger. Now you're risking fucking 1 to make 10. Same thing to the downside. If let's say I'm buying puts, right? Let's say I'm buying puts. So let's say my I'm buying puts. So I'm gonna wait until 422 to buy puts, right? So boom, like this. Fuck, I gotta go to the 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Let's say I'm buying puts. So this is my entry, 422.93, and my reward is all the way down to 421. So if this is my reward, okay, this is my reward, and then my risk is going to be this. So you want to make it slightly above where you entered, right? Or you want to wait for the moving average and use it as your stop loss. How many of you have learned a few things right now? Can you guys please take a picture and tag me on Twitter or Instagram real quick before I show you another trade I'm going to do? PC, I'm going to kick you, bro. You're annoying. What's Mahir's strategy on Amazon? I don't know. He just, Mahir used to go on Fridays and he would like put in like 50K on Amazon on puts and calls at the same time. And he'd make like $1 million because he'd let it run the whole time. So that's what he used to do. But let me know when you guys have tagged me and stuff, and I'll keep going and I'll show you another trade. I'll show you shop. You want me to show you shop or Tesla or both? If you want me to show you both, you better tag me. Instagram too. All right, here, I'll show you both. I'll show you both right now. Okay, so shop first, shop. So shop, you gotta first see where we are in, holy mother of cow. I didn't even realize this thing was this low. Wow, dude. Okay, so next support is about, so next support I'm gonna show you is right here on the left, right there. That's next support. So you wanna make a line going straight right there, just like that, right? That's the next support. So what does this stock look similar to? It looks similar to Amazon and it looks similar to Apple the whole time. Bro, Kevin was asleep last Friday. No, I wasn't asleep. I was up for 30 minutes and I traded and I made money on that small account. And then I just fall asleep. If I just decided to stay up, I would have made so much money, but I wasn't expecting that kind of Friday to turn into that. You feel me? You guys got to understand, you don't know what the day is going to look like, right? Only until after you're going to be like, oh, fuck, I should have just stayed in. But okay, what if that Friday, what if I was right? What if by the time I was done trading, the whole market was shit and the whole market was sideways? Then what? Then you would have been like, oh wow, dude, you got out at the right time. Like, you get me? You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know. You just have to, either you want to sit down and trade the whole day or you don't want to sit down and trade the whole day. Because, for example, how many of you would be happy if you woke up for fucking 5-10 minutes, make 5 grand, go back to sleep, and you're good for the day, bro? That's a lot. A lot of people will be happy about that, right? You feel me? So, and the Boeing trade too. That Boeing trade was sick. But anyways, so for shop, it looks the same as what we were looking at earlier on Apple and Amazon. We're right at the support line, right? So at what point, okay, now I bet you guys are asking, okay, look, at what point do you want to just keep buying puts? What if we're into a bear market territory? So once we go below, like right here, 307 on shop, then I'll just keep buying puts until we see a nice bounce back up. But that's how, I'm sorry. Ooh, I need some water. Threw up in my mouth. Okay, look, at what point do we want to Okay, for shop, like I said, the way the market works, we're not gonna keep going down. Like I've never seen it before. Like how many guys have seen the market go to shit? I mean, like what? The freaking the 2000s era or 2008, the recession. Like you gotta understand, you know, we're already down a lot. So with these earnings, and I'm gonna tell you this, the earnings will dictate what's gonna happen. All these earnings will dictate the direction of the market, because if you have good earnings on a lot of these big names, then obviously everyone's gonna look for, it's all gonna be good and dandy. What's the other name you want me to look at? Tesla. Oh God, I gotta do this again. Sometimes you guys gotta understand. Sometimes I have my levels so nice, and when I do a class like this, I have to remake it, and like it gets annoying because like sometimes my levels, like I feel like they're so good and then I lose it. Then I have to remake it just to show you. But it gives me practice though. It makes me, I feel like doing classes makes me like, it gives me repetition to just keep looking at charts with you guys, so that I learn some, believe it or not, I learn something new every time I hop on this thing and talk to you guys. It's like fucking therapy too, you know. I got no one to talk to about my problems. Here you go, lay it all out on this freaking Zoom call. All right. So on Tesla right now, what do you guys see? What is your observation as of right now? Kev, I'm suicidal. Bro, don't fucking say no stupid shit like that. You got a lot going on, bro. I know a lot of people going through a lot of shit. And sometimes people take, like I have a friend who lost like both her parents, bro. And like, like, not to put her business out there, but this shit sucks. But it's like you gotta deal with things a certain way, because if you don't, you're just gonna self-destruct, and that's what you don't want to do. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys go through a lot too in life, and you're not the only one. You got to think about that too. You're not the only one going through things. You got a lot of people who struggle to pay bills. You got a lot of people who lost people. Like people deal with things differently. And for example, me with trading, like me, this is my passion. This is what gets me through the day. And sometimes I have my bad days. Anyway, so this is what I observe on Tesla, right? You have this range right here that's trying to trade in, but these two times we broke out, right? So these two times that we broke out, that's why I made this line. This two times that we broke out becomes a what? A downtrending what? A downtrending resistance, right? It becomes a downtrending resistance. So now that you see all those candles, they reject that specific line, right? So how am I going to trade Tesla? Well, the thing is, I can still trade Tesla to the upside because, for example, we're still at 1005. So can I trade Tesla to the upside above 1035 and still trade it up to 1098? Yes, I can. Right now, what you have to do is you just have to know when to sell correctly, because when all that selling pressure comes, that's when you don't want to get caught in. Because sometimes when you trade and you get into a trade and you try to sell it as the price is going down, you're not going to get filled, right? So one thing that you need to do is you need to be able to do what? You need to be able to sell into strength. Selling into strength is the biggest thing that you need to do. You got to know how to sell into strength. Don't sell when the fucking shit is going back down. Sell it when it goes up, right? Trim it as it goes up, right? Boom. So you got rejection, 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 rejection. So now you have this rejection on Tesla. On Tesla, right? You have for example, okay, one thing I want to show you. So now you have the momentum indicator pushing up, and then you have the breakout here. But the momentum indicator is now pushing down because you see that there's a lot of selling demand coming in, right? So essentially, what am I waiting for? Now, if I go to the 4-hour level, right? If I go to the 4-hour level, you see that there is a lot of indecision. But what I can see better than what I just saw on the weekly is that on the 4-hour level, what do we have? We have a bear flag, right? Now, when we were looking at it on the weekly, this is what we saw. We didn't see anything much, right? But look at this momentum indicator. What is this momentum indicator telling you? This indicator is telling you that the momentum is on to the what? Is going to the downside, right? And what agrees with that specific thing you just said? Which time frame? The 4-hour time frame agrees with that, because now the 4-hour time frame is telling you, hey, we're bearish, right? So now that indicator that you just saw, the momentum indicator on the weekly, right? You're like, oh, dude, because sometimes people will be like, oh, it's going up. You have this crossover. We might still go up. No, this momentum indicator is no longer bullish. It's almost turning bearish now. And what supports that is if you move on to the 4-hour time frame and you see this bear flag, right? So now what are we going to do on Tesla? So now we got to figure out the levels on which we're going to trade. So that's the support. Why is that the support? Because you have this right here, and you have this right here, and you have this right here. Is that more than 3 touches? You have another one right there. Is that more than 3 touches? Yes. So now we're going to trade the breakdown of 996.59, and we're going to hold our trades until about 969. Now, what I want to help you on is sometimes you don't want to hold it until the whole way, because you see this right here. You see this buying pressure coming in right here, right? You see this right here, and then you see that. Now, what I want to show you some gold is this. So you want to make a line that goes from right here. So you want to make a line on that wick, and then you want to make a line on this wick, right there. So now you have these 2 lines. Now, what am I going to do with these 2 lines? I'm going to make a what? I'm going to make a rectangle that's telling me that this is going to be the buying zone for Tesla. So if I'm going to trade puts, I'm going to trade puts only up to 978, right? There you go. So now my profit target turned from 969 to 978, because if I try to hold it to 969, to 969, I might catch a lot of buying pressure on the way down, and it's not going to allow me to take profits on my trade as it goes back up, because this is a high demand. Make sense? All right, that's my overview, and that's what I'm gonna look for to do. I hope you guys enjoyed today's class. Please tag me and just share my videos. I'm gonna upload this within an hour, by the way. How many of you guys are gonna rewatch it? So I appreciate you guys for coming in here, by the way, during the NBA playoffs and all that. But thank you guys so much. Thank you guys. And we're doing a $1,000 challenge in Boiler Room. If you don't know, if you haven't joined, just join. You'll make your money back easy. I'll see you guys this week.